sitting here actually in Santa Monica, not far from the pier, not far from the beach. It's a very cool place. It's not far from where I live, actually. Let me tell you quickly, for those of you who don't know, most of you probably already do, what the Gone books are about. Basic idea is that everybody over the age of 15, that's say 15 and over, suddenly disappears. And for a long time, we're not going to know why. But we know that it happens without warning, it happens suddenly, it's poof, and every single adult, every single teacher, every single parent, cops, doctors, ministers, people who run the store, all suddenly gone. And the kids who are left behind are trapped in this area that's about 20 miles across, can't escape, and some of the kids and some of the animals in that space are beginning to mutate in ways that are often dangerous. I would want there to be one if there was a good one. I'll tell you the probably too long answer to this, but I'll tell you anyway. What a writer has is something called rights. It means I can say, yes, you can make a movie out of this, or no, you can't make a movie out of this, but I can't force somebody to make a movie out of this. So we've gone back and forth. Every couple of weeks I drive up to Hollywood and I meet with producers, and the producers say, hey, we want to make a movie out of Gone. And I say, great. And then they say, who are the adult characters that we can get stars to play them to open the movie? And I say, well, have you read the book? Because the premise of the books are that there are no adult people. And they go, oh, well, we could add some though, right? And I say, no. And then the next thing they say is, hey, how about if we took all the characters and instead of them being 13 and 14, we made them 18 or 19. And I said, look, you know, the creepy thing about the books is the fact that the kids are so young, because you have scenes in the books, for example, where a 12 or 13-year-old might be walking around with a gun in one hand and a bottle of vodka in the other, and that's pretty extreme and pretty creepy if it's a 13 or 14-year-old. But if it's an 18-year-old, it's just any average night in LA. You don't have to be born with a lot of talent. There are writers, I don't think I probably have a lot of talent. There are writers who do have a lot of talent. J.K. Rowling had a lot of talent. And there are people with very little talent who nevertheless sell a lot of vampire books. So have some talent, and then you have to actually start writing. The big drag of this is you actually have to do the work. And for years and years and years, I mean years, I sat around thinking, well, I've got the talent to be a writer. I could be a writer. But oddly enough, you actually have to, at some point, sit down and write something. So the best thing you can do to prepare yourself to be a writer is actually to write. Everybody will tell you to read. That's absolutely true. But also just write, because in the process of writing, you learn what you don't know. Okay? And there's never a bad time to write. So you write, and it's going to be awful the first time, trust me, and awful the second time and the third time. But over time, if you've got the talent, you're going to start getting better and better. Probably Stephen King, because first of all, we're in a similar line of work, which is frightening people for no good reason. But I like him because he has a real work ethic, and I'm kind of a blue-collar guy myself. And Stephen King works really hard, and he's written a lot of books, and he keeps at it. And you know, at one point, the man's got like all the money in the world. He's a huge success. He sold movies and every conceivable type of success you can have as a writer. And at one point, he was walking down the street, down the road, and outside of his house, I guess in Maine or somewhere near his house, was run down by a guy in a van, nearly killed.
Wow.
And he was put down for a long time, you know, and very, very sick, and had every good reason to say, you know, that's it, I'm done. But despite all that, when he got better, he jumped back up and wrote this massive long novel called Under the Dome. And I like the fact he's not doing it for the money at this point. He's not doing it because he needs to. He doesn't have anything to prove. But he writes because he has a good, solid, work ethic, and he gets up and does his job every day. And that's exactly what I try to do. We actually have, well, depending on whether you count fish. My daughter has a fish. Whose name? Oh, Bill, I think. And then we have 2 dogs, which we've had for quite a while. Goofy, who is a yellow lab, and Pugs, who is a pug. And I'll just say this, I really like Goofy. Pug, not so much, maybe. Pug has the tendency to pee on any vertical object that's in the way, and I kind of object having my house peed on a regular basis. So he and I, we don't get along. And then there's my daughter's cat, Lightning. And Lightning has taken against me and kind of it fears me, and I've never done a thing to Lightning. I don't know why she doesn't like me, but whenever I come in, she kind of looks at me in shock and then races from the room. Hurts my feelings. No. Although I have a kind of an odd, it's more a joke that I tell myself about the irony gods, like the gods of literature who wait out there and watch foreshadowing or watch. You know how in any movie or any book, when one of the characters goes, "Oh man, this is the best day of my life. I'm happy, and I'm probably going to be happy forever." And you know he's dead. He's taken a bullet to the brain. So I kind of watch out for that, like the irony gods that will come along if I say anything too happy. They'll come along and crush me, which is what I would do to a character.
Always be humble.
Yeah, exactly.